Well, first of all, I wanted to say that the gameplay that you see in the vast majority of the video was recorded either from 1 month from now or like 2 months from now. Now being like literally the end of October, and the actual like the voiceover is like probably 1 month old, and so, in all due technicality, I still see this video being published on November, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, the this voiceover right here is pretty much like actuality, like on October, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to say that pretty much I'm sorry I've been procrastinating a lot. I've also been working on my stuff, but that is no excuse for not delivering what I promised. But yeah, I'm pretty much back online, and yeah, here's the video.
Yo, so this is very unusual for me to do because I said in my explanation video that I will only upload one video per month, but well, this is a break to that rule. Well, technically it's not because I wrote this script like 1 month earlier, but I am recording it now in September. That means that I wrote the script in August. But yeah, so basically I'm going to do this video because a friend told me that it's best to keep ideas of videos very simple, because my original idea is not only going to talk my experience doing the Easter egg, but also talking curiosities along the way as well. So I'm basically separating these two ideas, one for curiosities and the other for like experience video. So yeah, now with the video at hand, I was going to talk about two things: the brain rot damage multiplier and this.
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king, where's my crown? That's my bling.
But recording the footage, I realized there is more to it than what I planned. I learned more about this map just interacting with it. And also, I learned a lot as a game developer. All of this reminds me that my project professor was right. When we, like my colleague and I, were presenting the state of our project to the professor, he would always complain about player feedback. Bro, why do you think Professor wants us here? I mean, this is not even on university grounds, and quite honestly, it's scary being here.
Um, I think he's trying to prepare us for the future, or our future working environment.
Now,
Jesus
let's
Christ.
check all your progress. It's been 1 week, and I expect that all the changes that I wanted are done. Because 1 week is more than enough to make everything the game needs.
So, this is the progress that we made in this week. And I don't know what we're missing. If yeah, I honestly don't know.
So, gameplay wise, everything's okay, but it is missing more player feedback. Yeah, like, how do you know when you're in contact with something? Or how do you know when something ends? You need a lot more sounds, or you need more visual cues, because the players are not going to get what's happening really on the screen. I thought I already mentioned this before, but me saying it again, -1 point to your group. Uh, Professor, wait, no, we didn't present to you the correct and he's gone. Alright. Time to keep working, I guess. And I would always think that he was exaggerated, but analyzing this game, I realized that player feedback is very important because how else would you know when something's done? All the sound cues, the environment, music, and the visual representation are what makes the game playable, not only the mechanics. But that is the most technical aspect, and I won't be talking about it like in depth, or at least I don't know if you guys want to know about this depth. All to my 10 loyal viewers. Tell me in the comments below if you would like to see a technical breakdown of Body of Despair map. Well, talking about the brain rot damage multiplier is also kind of technical because I always wondered why did the developers brought this mechanic. I mean, it's cool to convert a zombie into an ally. He will attack other zombies one-shotting them, as far as I can see, and then explode. But there's something that bugs me every time, and it's its behavior. When the player is downed, I get that the developers might have to do a state machine to make the flow of the gameplay easier to cut down, basically. So the concept of the state machine is really simple. It's a series of checks that the system does automatically to see what state the player is. For example, the most simple one is the is alive state, like quote unquote. And I'm going to put like some little words and things in like for you to see to illustrate this better. But let's say if player HP is more than 0, then the player is alive. We know that in Call of Duty Zombies, it used to be 2 hits and then you're down, then 3 hits, and now with Call of Duty Black Ops 4, 4 hits, but basically each zombie does 50 damage. Then it technically changed from hits to literally life points, or hit points, HP in this case. But yeah, coming back. So basically, I'm going to rephrase it. So basically, if player HP is higher than 0, then player is alive. Else, this right here, I mean, it's more like a exclamation mark is alive. Basically, that exclamation mark is negation, or in other words, is not alive. Because my professor told me that putting a variable as a negative is weird. Only variables should be put in positive. I don't know. But yeah. There are many other instances of such animations. Like when the player velocity is 0, then play idle down score animation. If player velocity is more than 0, then player down score walking down score animation. Same thing with running, jumping, and many other things. I mean, the state machine is a pretty complete concept. I especially used it on my first semester project. I don't know if I'm going to use it on my third semester project though. But yeah, actually writing this part woke up the programmer inside me. But the issue I have with this modifier, the brain rot modifier, is that I don't know if they didn't develop it from the ground up. I mean, this basically means that it has its own set of rules and variables, or if it only changes like a value. For example, the developers need to differentiate in between a player from an NPC or non-playable character. So if the character is not a player, then it's an NPC. If it's an NPC, it will follow the player in different patterns, similar to the Pac-Man ghosts, and attack it. But when the player is down, the zombies tend up to pile up on you and be idle. Oh, well, that is how it used to be. I'm not sure if that rules actually holds up into these COD zombies. So if the player is dead, then they will die one by one until there is no unit on the map. What I don't understand about all of this is why, even if the player is down, the turned zombie doesn't keep attacking the other zombies, but it's in an idle state. It's like a prefab. Well, a prefab is I don't really know what prefab actually stands for, but according to me it's prefabrication. I mean, something that was made before. That's according to me what a prefab is. So since the zombie is a child of the zombie prefab, it will have the same behavior as the parents, but it only has a small deviation, more like a Boolean value, or in other words, a true or false statement. If it's turned, or if it's not. I guess it's a way to solve a problem of how would it work, because a turned zombie will need to be a separate unit and it will need to be shot with a special ammo type. Now that my rant is over, I can talk about small things such as the HD map model to spot the box. It is normal that Treyarch zombies, the developers, put a small map next to the box with a spot to see where the box is, because back in the day, the only way that you could spot the box would be by looking in the sky. And don't get me wrong, you can still do that. But as I said before, as my professor too, the more feedback, the better. Because we don't want players that doesn't understand one of the features that are important to the gameplay. This model apparently is this model of like the image of where the box is apparently a resize of a screenshot of the image. Actually, I'm curious on how they managed to get a good graphics on the entire game that has a 144p on one of those images. Probably they were fixing the brain rot modifier and they forgot to port correctly the image of the map before the delivery.
Well, it's about time to see the progress of the zombie map.
Ugh. I haven't slept for the past month, but the map is finally done. Everything should be okay. All the perks and mechanics should be working just fine. Hey, you! Have you implemented the map's texture for the box?
¿Por qué me hablas en inglés, güey?
I will take that as a yes.
So, the release date is near. I'm expecting everything is done.
Yes, sir. Everything's done. I will be preparing the build for you to see it.
Very nice. Meet me at the conference room in 20 minutes. Hey, what the? This is the worst port of an image I've seen. This is honestly very impressive. I've never seen such masterpiece in 15 years of my career. Very well done, guys. And how is the progress of all future maps? Thank you very much, sir. And everything else is done. It took every hard work from everyone in the team, but I sure hope this game will be a success. Yes, this game will be a massive hit. And also, by the way, we will be laying off 80% of our development team, so consider this your notice, effective immediately. Tell your team as well. Honey, we're going to navigate. They haven't even paid us for the past 3 months.
The other curiosity I wanted to talk about is that the Stalker, the armored zombie of the map, drops a key to do the Kraken side Easter egg. But if you kill him with explosives, the key won't drop. Or there's a chance for him to drop the key, and I'm just looking for things that are not there. There are other side Easter eggs such as the bones in the mail room and the piano sheets that you can put in some pianos. We actually have an invisible inventory system, so we can't see what we are holding because we can only carry one bone at a time, or we can carry only one thing of the radio at a time. Also, I think it's cool that the radios, the gramophones in the map, are interactable because you actually need to get the information roll and put it into the gramophone, and you actually have a sound cue that you took something and to put something. It is also interesting that if you pick up all the information roll of Alistair, you can hear the soundtrack of Dead at Night, like the zombies map, in the background. Um, oh, here I also did a little commentary that says that Night of the Dead was already taken by. Yeah, it's because the name of the map is Dead of the Night, but it could also be said Night of the Dead. But Night of the Dead also mean Nach der Untoten in German, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. So before I say goodbye, I want to elaborate a little bit more into the radio thingy, because I briefly talked about this, but there's more to it. I mean, there's a lot more to it. I mean, the previous time I talked to you was on the 11th try, now I'm in the 30th, so there are 19 more gameplays for me to explain. But there is nothing much to explain apart from a few things that I've learned, but I want to elaborate a little bit more in these radios. So, talking about the radios, back in the day, like in World War, I think it was the earliest version that you can do the radios. I think that the first radios were introduced in Verrückt, but I'm not so sure. But I do know that in World War was the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that the radios were introduced. So basically, let's say that you have a really cool game, but you want to give it a little story, a little bit of pizzazz to it. Yeah, so you have these characters and they're like recurring characters because you see them in every map, and you want to explain how did they get from one point to another. That's why the lore or the story is very important to the games, because it will only enhance the experience of the player. I mean, it could technically detriment it due to certain scenarios and cases, but mostly in my perspective they're very good for the lifetime of the game. So what happened? Usually you go up to these radios and you just interact with them. You press X on the Xbox controller, you press square on the PlayStation controller, you press F to give respect, which is why you press F to interact with it in PC, and there's nothing much about it. I mean, I think that in World War there wasn't even a sound cue. You just like, oh, there's a radio, I'm going to interact with it, and then it happened. Then it like works. But as I said before, here in Black Ops 4 there is actually a sound cue when you actually pick up a radio thingy, the gramophone thingy, and also when you put it down. And it also is interesting because it also tones down the volume of the environment of the game and sets the audio from the gramophone to be the main source of audio. So it's technically interesting because you can also activate the Easter egg song, and also the Easter egg song, since it's like, I think, an ambient type of sound, it's also toned down so that you can hear literally the recording of the gramophone, and that's something cool. But yeah, there is also some special things from some radios. For example, in Kino der Totem, you could use if I'm not mistaken, a Pack-a-Punch sniper rifle. I actually have not tried it with any other not Pack-a-Punch or even Pack-a-Punch weapon that is not a sniper rifle, that you actually need to like shoot the radio in order for it to start speaking and stuff. So basically the mechanic is like not set in stone of just, oh, go ahead and interact with it, but it's actually much more than that. So what I'm trying to say here is that you can actually put different audios in different gramophones. Well, you can only put it in one gramophone at a time, so you cannot take it out. That's the interesting part. But I mean, you can use, there are like 5 gramophones around the map, around somewhere, and you can put basically any audio in any gramophone that you want. And I've only personally discovered 2. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is more to it, but I actually have no idea where the others are. and I am actually like not going to see any videos. I'm trying to discover all the shit that I can before actually finishing the Easter egg. Or well, once I finish the Easter egg, the project is done. So basically, I have no more meaning to keep playing the map. But yeah, the thing is that as I mentioned before, in the inventory system as well, you cannot see how many recordings of the gramophones there are, and there is an invisible inventory system for that. It's because when you get one recording, you cannot get the other recording at the same time. So that means that they are exclusive items. Exclusive may mean two things. First, that it is that there is not another copy of it, or actually that the existence of two of the same kind cannot be in the same space. So basically, if you get one recording and then you know where the other is, you cannot pick up the other recording because you're already holding one recording. And this is interesting. I personally have not tried to pick up and put down the recording, as you can do with the bones in the mail rooms, but that is at least quite interesting to me. So yeah, this is basically the whole entire video. Just that's pretty curious.